Hola amigos, in the last episode we unboxed the Supra model and the Pandem wide body for the A90. We used the basic tools we needed in order to install this aftermarket kit properly and get a correct fitment while making sure the body lines were smooth and fire. In this episode, we're going to correct any gaps with body filler, aka wide putty, and make sure there are no gaps in between the stock fenders and the wide body kit. I went ahead and finished the other side. I attached the rear duckbill. In my case, I decided I will mold it all into one piece with the left and right rear over fender since there was a little too much gap for my tasting. I'm just using more of the Accelerator so I can get a quicker and fast fitment here and making sure it is aligning right to the body just the same way I did the other side. I'm just finishing the rest. That's looking pretty good for me. I also just corrected any little bubbles that I had in the resin. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get bubbles and there's no other way around it. It's just the nature of the beast when you're working with resin. But it's not a problem because you could always get in there and put your skills to the test and make sure you get those corrected, fill them in with putty, and then get them ready for paint, which is the next step into the process. I'm attaching my duckbill here. I'm just making sure that it is aligning with the two rear fenders, and it looks great. I thought it was a good fitment. Now the only problem I had is that it had too much gap in between the rear fender and the duckbill. So I'm gonna sand the front lip that goes with this kit. It is a 6-piece body kit, if I'm correct, including the wings, 6 or 7. The front lip is, a very important piece to this project. It's a really beautiful lip. It just gives a lot of aesthetic to the Supra A90. I think it was just such a beautiful piece. Now I'm not sure if I should leave that. If I should paint that the color that I'm going to use for the body, or if I should go a carbon fiber, but we'll see. And I'm just making sure. I have a lot of body filler here, which is to me as white putty, and I went ahead and added to all corners of the kit, and I went ahead and I also filled it in the gaps in between. So as you see there, a lot of it has already dried. I've already applied just so I can get a good cure time. I left it resting for at least 24 hours, and then I go back the next day and I get my sanding paper and I just go ahead and just sand it. I give it a few light sands and nothing too rough with 400 grit, and just make sure that it is looking good and it's smoothing out correctly. And then there's just no in between. There's just no gaps in between, and that's something that I don't want to see. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm gonna go ahead and get that correct and get that fixed. This is coming out so much better than I ever thought. It's such a good kit. I love and I enjoy doing this. So I'm just having a fun time doing it, and I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. I'm just drilling through my holes because a lot of the times when I was adding the putty, my holes for my rivets were getting filled in with the putty. So I just, when I'm sanding the dust into it. So if you are adding the rivets, go ahead and just get your drill bit that you use to cut out the holes and drill the holes in there, and then just do it one more time just so you get no putty residue while you're painting primer, because that will lock it in if you leave the residue of the putty. Here I'm going to use Rust-Oleum's Professional Grade Primer. Now this is a very cool primer that I like using, and most of my projects, if you see, I I don't really state or list the kind of steps that I use, so that's why, you know, these videos are very helpful. So this is what I use. I know there's so many products out there. There's so many products that are really great, especially hobby primers, but for some reason I go with the I started using this from Home Depot, and then they're about like $7 to $8 a can. It's one of the there's so many different prices in primers, so you get your very cheap low end $2-3 bottle, and this is a very high-end primer that sticks really well to plastic. So for me, it's been working out great for the past couple of years that I've been using it. So I just do light mist on it first, and what I'm doing here is I'm adding the primer so I see where I'm at, so where my work is at in between. So once I'm done letting the primer set, I take it back to the table, and then I start reevaluating all the work that I've done so far. Now it's back at the table. It's looking pretty good. It's now all fully dry. Now the only thing that happened is this is what I'm saying. It will tell you your flaws. So I am marking them here. I am making notes of all the little gaps and little holes that were left out that I cannot see with the putty. So basically that's what I'm gonna do in this step. I'm just gonna go and correct and redo all the little spots that I missed. Gray primer is perfect for that because it will tell you all the little mistakes that you have in your bodywork. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill in this little hole that I have right here. Just add just a little bit more of the Tamiya white putty, and wear gloves, guys. I sometimes I'm bad for this, but I sometimes don't wear the gloves and I get the putty stuck, and it feels awful, like trying to get that off of your hands. So try to make it a rule of thumb just to wear gloves, and it also helps in smoothing out the white putty. So gloves always come handy for sure. Now I'm using a sculpting tool here in order to kind of just blend in and just kind of smooth out the putty. There's some certain areas that you won't be able to get into, so a good sculpting tool like a clay tool will help you do that. And these tools, you can actually get them at any art department or art store. I got this tool at Hobby Lobby. I'm just adding a little bit more to the rear duckbill. There's just a lot of uneven surfaces here, a lot of cracks, and with my modeling tool, it'll help me kind of smooth it out and get putty into those cracks where I'm not able to with my fingertips. Just making sure I am not covering any of the rivet holes, and if I am, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back there with my pin vise and go ahead and drill that hole one more time again. Remember, for my project, it's going to be very important for me to retain those holes because I definitely need those holes. I do have my rivets ready for them, so I won't be installing those until after the paint is dry. So just keep that in mind. Let me know, guys, if I am missing anything, if there's something that you want me to elaborate on. Drop a comment in the comment section below, and I will go ahead and address that in the next few episodes. So now I'm letting that white putty dry, everything that I've corrected that I saw that needed to be corrected, and I move on to the next step while I'm waiting for that putty to dry. And what I like to do is before I paint or install anything, I check the fitment of the car. So that means the chassis and all the suspension parts that are a part of the kit. So always just, you know, don't rush the build. Take your time, make sure the fitment is correct, and attach all body pieces that pertain to the stance of the vehicle, and also the wheels and the kind of wheels that you want to be using in your project. A lot of the times I see a lot of people who build models, they set it up, but they don't set up the right height. And so when they're done, the car's all painted and the height of the vehicle is still a little bit too high. So that might be their preference, and that might be something that they're completely fine with, and that's totally cool. But everybody has their own preferences, and my preferences is that I like to make sure I get that out of the way before I add the paint. And then once the paint is done, I go ahead and install my wheels, and it is sitting at the proper height that I am looking for, that pretty much satisfy my needs. So for this project, the Tamiya A90 looks like 19-inch wheels is going to be the best fit. I did want to go with something a little bit smaller, but 18s and 17s are just probably a little bit too small. So 19s turned out to be the best fit for this car, just so you know. If that will save you time, you know, just go straight to the 19-inch wheels, and 19-inch wheels are sitting perfect on the A90 for me so far. Here I'm using the Cosmos Racing on the front, and I'm using the Working Motion T5Rs in the back, and they are both 19s with a very deep offset. I like the look of this. It's gonna look so great once it's done and the paint is applied. The tires are the Toyo tires are 888s from Scale Production, and they feel just great. I'm very excited about the paint. Now, I'm not sure what paint I'm gonna go with, but if you guys have a color suggestion, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you're feeling for this project. To me, I'm feeling a little bit of candy, maybe a little pearl. I'm not sure yet, so I will finalize my decision soon. Another thing I'm doing, guys, I'm very excited. I've been having so much fun with this project. I'm gonna be doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. That's correct, you heard that right. I am gonna give away a Tamiya GR Supra, 19-inch wheels to go with the kit. Very beautiful 19-inch wheels, by the way. And also the Pandem wide body kit that goes with the kit. So let me know if you guys are interested in that. Like I said, when I reach 1,000 subscribers, I will go ahead and pick the winner. See you guys in the next video.